The 7-star SALAMENCE Tera raid event is now live in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. In today's video, we're going to go through all the details as well as one of the best solo builds to farm this event when this event is running. In-game now for its first time out from the 18th until the 20th of April, we're going to see SALAMENCE in Scarlet and Violet featured in 7-star Tera raids. It will return for its second time out in-game from the 25th until the 27th of April, and alongside this second time, it will be accompanied by 5-star Blissey Tera raids. The build in today's video is going to be Mew, a mythical Pokemon, and I understand it's not the easiest Pokemon to obtain. It's not available in the base games of Scarlet and Violet or the DLCs. It is going to be something that you have to transfer in from Pokemon Home that you've obtained in another game where it is available. If you do have one though, this is a considerably faster way to run through that 7-star SALAMENCE if you're looking to farm it for those high cost items or just do something different to the Electros that is very consistent anyway. The Mew is going to be level 100. It is going to have all of its IVs hyper trained, of course. Going to have that ice Tera typing, and the held item here is going to be the Shell Bell. Now the moveset is going to be Skill Swap, Nasty Plot, Acid Spray, and Ice Beam. And the EV spread is going to be 252 EVs in HP and Special Defense, with the remainder put into Special Attack and a modest nature. So your Mew, when it is trained, it should look exactly like this in game. The build will be down in the description below as well if you want to take a look at the details of that. And the one thing that I would say going into this raid is you really need an Intimidator to run through this 7-star SALAMENCE consistently. It can be done without an Intimidator, but it is hit or miss and is a little bit more reliant on RNG. But exactly like that Electros raid, it needs an Intimidate supporter. And there is a way for you to guarantee getting an Intimidator on your side of the field every time you go into this raid. I'll show you the method now for how you can do that initial setup. So to lock in an Intimidator, what we're going to do is just drop a save before we enter the raid, because we want to make sure that we've got a reset point if we need it. Then we're going to come into the raid and we're going to choose the option challenge as a group. Make sure you're offline when you do this. Click ready to go and start the raid. This will just give you 3 random raid partners. Now, what we're looking for is ideally 1 Intimidator. If you get 2, then you're looking out. If you don't get any Intimidators at all, simply just reset your game, then come back into it and then start the process again. The reason why we reset our game is because once you come into a raid with this method, you can't run from the raid. The only way to get out of it is by finishing the raid or either resetting your game, which will bring you back to the point before we went into it. You can see here, we do have an Intimidator, so we're quite happy with the Arcanine as being our Intimidator for farming this event through the weekend. Now we are going to see that turn 0 Heatwave come out from the SALAMENCE, and the first turn that we're going to do is lock in with a Skill Swap. That is going to just steal that Moxie ability away from the SALAMENCE so it can't get any free attack boosts for the rest of the raid whenever it knocks out a partnering Pokemon. And because we are faster than it, naturally, because it has a quiet nature, we're always going to get that outspeed. So getting rid of the Moxie before it either gets an attack off, which is quite crucial. Turn 2, we're going to go for an Acid Spray. Now we're going to go for 3 Acid Sprays essentially at this stage of the raid, because we want to get that Special Defense down to -6. It's just going to mean that we're going to be able to hit a lot harder when we get to the point of wanting to Terastallize. We're going to take attacks here and there, but definitely the Intimidate helps us just sponge up these attacks a little bit better in this early stage of the raid. We are going to see on 85% of the raid timer that stats and nullification notification pop up, and it'll follow that up with the shield like we're seeing here. But just continue going for those Acid Sprays. It's -2 at the minute. Remember, we need to get it down to -6, so that's 3 Acid Sprays. The one thing that I would say on the 3rd time we go for the Acid Spray, it is going to knock us out, but that is super fine, because that will then in turn activate the next notification where it will nullify our stats and abilities for a second time, and after that we'll be free to set up. It will not do that again in the raid. So that's what we want to do. We want to kind of just speed things up a little bit by getting the 3rd Acid Spray off, getting that Special Defense down to -6, and then we're just activating that notification where it nullifies the stats and abilities, and it just means it's a lot faster for us to run through the raid, especially if you're farming it this weekend with a Mew. And you can see the Tera Blast going to come out here. Will be enough to pick up the knockout. The other thing is as well, it allows us to come back in more healthy and get those nasty plots up, which is the next step in this raid, getting our special attack to +6, because after we see this second notification here, it's not going to do that again. So we're pretty free to just go for this setup, and SALAMENCE isn't going to nullify its stats until its HP hits 44%. So we're pretty safe at this point just to start clicking in with those nasty plots. We are ready to terastallize as well whenever we want to, but we're not going to do it just yet. We want to wait until we are +6 on our special attacking side before we lock in with that terastallization and start doing some big significant damage to the Salamence and clearing it up. So second nasty plot here, taking us to +4 on our special attack, and then we want one more after this, and that'll take us to +6. And then after that point, we're ready to go and start making quick work of the Salamence. Like I say, an Intimidator is essential in this raid. So using the method that we did at the start to lock in an Intimidator, make sure that you have one whenever you go forward in these events for the weekend when it's running, however long you farm through them for, just makes this process a lot easier than going into the raid, checking, running, and then trying again each time. At least this method guarantees you're going to have an Intimidator every time you go into the raid if you use this method that we've done to set up the raid like we did at the start. So there's our third and final nasty plot set up. You can see that we are +6. Salamence is -6 along with all of those other drops, and we can go for that terastallization and lock in with an ice beam, and this may be enough to get rid of the shield. It'd probably just fall a little bit short. Raid timer still in a really comfy position here, so we're not in any danger of having the raid kick us out just yet. We should be able to clear this pretty quickly at this point. So ice beam is pretty much all we're going to do for the rest of the raid. You can go for an additional acid spray after it does nullify those stat drops on its side of the field if you want, but it's not really essential for you to do. See, just falling so short there, just nearly doing it. Maybe the Sylveon can pick up the shield, and then that'll allow us to close things up a little bit quicker as well. Another ice beam here, it will allow us to get rid of the shield and do some significant damage, put it in range as well. Probably one more ice beam to pick up that knockout, and the Shell Bell obviously keeping us very healthy. But you can see how easy this is with the Mew, how quick it can be after that just initial setup. So it's basically skill swap, acid spray 3 times, feint, nasty plot 3 times, and then essentially ice beam 2 to 3 times, and then that should be enough to clear the raid. You're gonna see the Dragon Dance come out from the Salamence. It will fire off an attack, of course, after this, but we're in such a healthy position that we're going to be able to just close this one up pretty seamlessly. But like I say, you can do this without an Intimidate user, but an Intimidate user I do feel is pretty essential for this, just to make it more guaranteed, more consistent, and that's what we're looking for if you want to run through it on these events over the weekend. I'd say it's just over 5 minutes to run through the Salamence each time with the Mew, once you've got that initial Intimidator with the setup in this raid. So there's the final ice beam and locked in. You get your item drops as well. Of course, there is a 3% chance of a Herba Mystica dropping every time you complete the SALAMENCE Tera raid. And once the raid's done, you want to respawn the den back onto your map. If you want to come into your home menu, then come down into system settings and then down into system. Then you want to come down into date and time. Make sure your synchronized clock by the internet is off. Click into date and time. Just toggle through. Don't change anything. Hit OK and then come back into your game. And all the dens should respawn, so you'll be able to locate that 7-star raid den once again and head over to it. Now, the next time you come to the raid after doing the initial setup like we did by choosing the alternative option, if you want to lock in those same partnering Pokemon that we've just had, this time when you go into the raid, just say challenge alone. Don't challenge as a group like we did initially. Just challenge alone and it'll take you into the raid and you'll have those same partnering Pokemon, ensuring that you've got that Intimidator every time you use the Mew going forward. If you found the build in today's video useful, please consider dropping a like on the video. It does really help. Do consider subscribing to the channel as well to stay up to date with all of our raid videos, as well as our Pokemon content we cover here on the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, friends. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in another video very soon. So until then, take care of yourselves and bye-bye.